I am Aurora, the heiress of Sterling Group. Today is my engagement gala to Liam, the self-made prodigy I personally lifted from nothing. Under the gaze of Riverdale's entire elite, he walks toward me hand in hand with my best friend, Sophie. Aurora, I'm sorry, Alex says, voice trembling with staged affection and guilt, but the one I love is Sophie. She's my true love. Please give us your blessing. Gasps ripple through the ballroom. Sophie hides behind him, tears streaming prettily, making it seem as if I'm the villain who tore them apart. I raise my champagne flute and offer them a radiant smile. Well said. To celebrate your true love, I've prepared a surprise gift. The spotlights at the Hawthorne press conference sting my eyes. On stage, Liam stands tall, proudly presenting Hawthorne Biotech's future roadmap. I can practically feel Sophie's heated stare from the audience. She's already picturing herself as Mrs. Hawthorne. Dream on. Next, let's welcome the founder of the Stellar Tech Particle Technology and my ex-girlfriend, Aurora, to say a few words. Liam's tone drips with smug condescension, utterly ironic. 1,000 camera lenses swing toward me, yet my heart is as calm as a deep pond. I'm dressed in a razor-sharp white pantsuit, hair swept up to display the cool, sculpted face they once called aloof. I climb the steps in stilettos, take the microphone, and sweep my gaze across the sea of faces. Liam's triumph, Sophie's rapture, the press's hunger for gossip. Good afternoon. My voice rings crystal clear through the speakers. I'm here for one announcement. I pause and lock eyes with Liam, watching the triumph drain from his smile. Effective immediately, I am suspending all commercial licensing of the Stellar Tech Particle patent indefinitely. Dead silence. One heartbeat, two, then the room detonates. Reporters surge forward, questions pounding like artillery. Jamie, what does this mean? You're freezing the patent? What happens to Hawthorne? Liam's complexion turns corpse white. He never saw this coming. Hawthorne Biotech, his life's work, relies entirely on that patent. I've just yanked out the ventilator. You spiteful brat, my father roars from the front row, lunging to slap me. I snatch his wrist midair. Holding him without effort, I say quietly, Father, we're in public. Don't embarrass yourself. His chest heaves. Let me clarify. I release him and lift the mic again, my soft words slicing through the uproar. The Stellar Tech patent was my independent undergraduate project. The certificate lists one name only, Aurora. It never has, does not, and never will belong to Sterling Group, nor to Mr. Hawthorne. A cold smile curves my lips as I look at Liam's bloodless face. Or to him. Sophie's meticulously made-up face has gone parchment pale, knuckles white around her clutch. Golden ticket? Luxury wedding? If Hawthorne collapses, she won't even keep a receptionist job. Ridiculous. After the conference, I sit in the backstage lounge. Liam bursts in, blocking the doorway, all swagger gone, voice gravel raw. Aura, what the hell are you doing? Stop this game, okay? Game? I lift the tabletop water, but don't drink. Same old arrogance. He thinks I'm playing hard to get. Mr. Hawthorne, you still don't get it, do you? I meet his eyes, a thin smile on my lips. Right now, you're the one begging me. The words puncture his composure like a needle. He exhales sharply. What do you want? Simple. I set the glass down and rise. 51% of Hawthorne Biotech. Absolute control. His pupils contract. Sure, he misheard. You're insane. 3 minutes to decide. I flick my wrist and check my watch, or march outside and explain to your investors why bankruptcy filings are due tomorrow. His phone vibrates nonstop. Jordan, lead investor, flashing on screen. He glances at the name, then at me, a chill crawling up his limbs. He hadn't thought I could be this ruthless. Clenching his jaw, he forces the word out. Deal. I see humiliation in his eyes, and the delusion that I'll eventually cave and come back to him. Wishful thinking. The equity transfer is signed in record time. My legal team is terrifyingly efficient. When Liam scrawls the final stroke, he looks hollow. He searches my face for triumph, for lingering tenderness, finds neither. I accept the document that decides his company's fate without even glancing at him or Sophie. They no longer merit a sliver of emotion. Casey, let's go. I turn, my entourage following. The staccato of designer heels on marble drums straight over their hearts. All I leave them is a silhouette sharp enough to cut, and no way back. I wake naturally the next morning. Sunlight stripes across the bedroom through half-shut blinds. Glorious weather for a send-off. My phone buzzes with congratulatory and phishing calls. I ignore everyone. Casey texts, Liam and Sophie downstairs, insisting on seeing you. A peace offering? He probably thinks yesterday's takeover was merely a tantrum awaiting his apology. I take my time with makeup, slip into a tailored dress, and glide downstairs. Liam and Sophie hover in the lobby, both sporting purple shadows under their eyes. Sophie's foundation can't conceal her exhaustion. Liam steps forward the moment he spots me, forcing a brittle smile. Aurora, let's talk. I bypass him and head straight to the adjacent conference hall already staged for a press event. They freeze, then scramble after me, faces draining as reporters swarm. The flash barrage is brighter than yesterday's. On the podium, I survey the media sea, spotting Liam and Sophie crumpled at the back, ash pale. Thank you for coming on such short notice. I begin, voice crisp. Yesterday, I suspended Stellar Tech licensing. Today, I unveil the next step. Liam's shoulders tense, anticipating a reprieve. I hereby establish Stellar Tech Incorporated, effective immediately. His expression petrifies. I continue before he can breathe. Tech companies, however, revolve around people, not patents. I gesture toward the entrance. Allow me to introduce my former teammates and future partners, the founding R&D core of Stellar Tech. The doors swing open, led by Leon. A dozen Hawthorne veterans stride in. Each once shared my lab bench at Riverdale University. Liam's last trace of color vanishes. His lips quiver as familiar faces pass him by and fall into formation behind me. A company stripped to marketing temps and front desk staff? That's not a business. It's an empty shell. No need to check tickers. Hawthorne stock is headed for a cliff. Moments after the event, my phone rings, unknown number. I pick up, and Sophie's tear-choked shriek pierces my ear. Aurora, why are you doing this to us? You're driving us to ruin. You taught me. I reply evenly. Take what you want, by any means necessary. Forgotten already. I hang up and block her. Waste a breath. Word had it that Liam had trashed his own office, roaring at the investors' incessant phone calls that he would make me pay.
Pay? With what?
Right now, I was sitting in Stellar Tech's brand new conference room. Leon and the whole team circled the long table, the whiteboards already packed with blueprints for Stellar Tech. 2. Aurora, we can push the fusion energy parameters even further. Exactly. Liam's gear is already obsolete. We can triple the efficiency easy. The room buzzed. Everyone's eyes shone with conviction. This was the kingdom I belonged to. When the discussion paused, I looked at Leon. Leon, bring in the top security firm. From today, every core employee rides in a company car. Leon blinked, then the meaning hit. I know Liam, I said, lifting my coffee and gazing out the window. A corner a dog, and it'll leap a wall. Liam didn't let me down. The cornered dog jumped sooner than I'd expected. Sophie's call came in while I was reviewing fresh experiment logs. Her voice trembled like a leaf in an October wind. Aurora, can we meet? I want to return your things and to say sorry in person. An apology? Items back. I almost laughed. She must have forgotten how she'd clung to Liam's arm, jabbing a finger at me while she screamed that I didn't know a good thing when I had it, and how she later boxed up every gift I'd given her and dumped it outside my door. Now, she wanted the old bestie script? Wrong cue cards. The lobby CAF. 30 minutes. I rattled off the address and hung up. I wanted to see what pearls of strategy Liam had coached her to deliver. Sophie arrived plastered in war paint, clutching a cardboard carton of trinkets I barely remembered. Aurora, I'm sorry, I used to. Her eyes reddened, audition tears on cue. Put it over there. I pointed to an empty chair and idly stirred my espresso. Anything else? She choked on the rebuff, finally squeezing out, "May I use the restroom?" left outside the door. When she stood, she pretended to stumble, colliding with my open laptop, sloshing coffee across its ports and over her blouse.
Oh,
"I'm sorry, Aurora." She dabbed frantically with napkins. "Forget it." I snapped the lid shut, slid her a card. "Outfit's ruined. Go upstairs and buy something, 6 zeros. Consider it a parting gift." Watching her clutch the card, shame, greed, and triumph mixing on her face, I flagged a busboy. While he wiped the table, I asked casually, when she bumped me, "Did you see anything slip into the USB port?" He froze, shook his head. I let it go, flipped the machine over, and studied the thumbnail-sized black chip now lodged in the port. Predictable. 1 month later, phone ringing like a death knell at 11 p.m. Leon yelled, "Aurora, breach. Whole servers compromise." I bolted into Find R, ablaze with fluorescent light. Leon and the coders were paler than their screens. What happened? An hour ago, anomalous traffic slipped past every firewall, root-level access. They vacuumed all Stellar Tech, 2 core files, then wiped most footprints. Only salvaged a short, overwritten log. Can't trace the source. He swallowed. "Aurora, everything we built, stolen." 2 interns were near tears. I logged in from my desk and stared at the immaculate yet plundered folder. "Liam," I said quietly, and the bullpen went pin-drop silent. Leon's lips moved. "But we've no proof. If he patents first, who says that molecular blueprint was Stellar Tech 2's? I turned, smiled at his hopeless face. Avery was still piecing it together. I tapped a few keys, opened a hidden vault containing a set of molecular schematics 10 times more complex. That Trojan horse I fed him was a failed decoy for my senior thesis. Its only talent is disintegrating under specific stress. I eyed the real dataset. "Relax. Call legal and PR. Curtain's about to rise." Liam outpaced my timetable. He allied with Seacrest, our biggest rival, and frantically patented every downstream application. Then came the thunderous press conference. In my office, I watched the tablet, Liam radiant, declaring Hawthorne had achieved a revolutionary breakthrough and would launch its upgrade next week, exactly 7 days before my scheduled reveal. "He's driving us off a cliff." Leon paced behind me. "Legal warns if we unveil Stellar Tech 2 now, we admit infringing his patents." I killed the screen. My reflection stared back. "Relax. Let him fly. The higher the soar, the harder the crash." No sooner had Liam bowed than Sophie wept her way on stage. She posted a slickly edited video, tear-stained "Woe is me" mascara, gasping how I had crushed hers and little Aiden's dream. Aurora snatched our shared vision and forced Aiden to surrender his company. She sobbed at the camera. "We only wanted our own venture. Why is she hunting us to extinction? Shared dream?" She meant daily scheming to trip me, or research on how fast she could jump Liam's bones. The clip detonated. Overnight, she became the damsel resisting corporate tyranny. I was branded the patent predator bitch queen. My social feeds drowned in sludge. The switchboard melted. Partners wavered. 2 signed investors pulled out overnight. I stepped into the bullpen. Silence thick enough to drown whispers. Netizens say, "We ripped off Mr. Hawthorne," but Sophie looked so wrecked. Can't be fake. Crowds scare so easily. Leon burst in, pale. "Cash flow won't last the month." Crisis came like a blackout. That night I stood alone in the cavernous lab. City neon glittered beyond the glass. Inside was still as a grave. My phone flashed red, overdraft notices plus a torrent of insults. Then Liam rang. "So, Aurora, enjoying the view from rock bottom?" I could hear his grin. "Abandoned, penniless, I warned you. Game over, little girl." He pictured me bawling. I hung up. Wasn't in the mood for encore. Lost? I gazed at the real Stellar Tech, 2 dossier glowing under cold light on the bench. No. Liam's death warrant had just been signed. I hung up without even bothering to block Liam's number. A man about to become a ghost isn't worth the swipe. I ignored the flurry of urgent messages from investors and partners and scrolled to a number I hadn't dialed in years. The transatlantic ringtone clicked after half a second. Aurora? Morning, Professor. Hope I'm not stealing you from burnt toast. On the other end, my doctoral mentor and Nobel laureate, Professor Hopkins, chuckled. My dear girl, your call trumps any charcoal breakfast. Then here's the good news, I said, moving to the floor-to-ceiling window and watching the Riverdale traffic crawl below. The fish swallowed the hook, and the whole trawler with it, as expected. That fool Liam can't tell a diamond from broken glass. His Oxford vowel sharpened. I'll phone the International Drug Safety Consortium myself. When do you haul the net? At his victory gala. 30 minutes later, I'd summoned every core team member. The conference room felt like a morgue. Leon slammed a financial printout on the table, voice hoarse. Best case scenario, we're dead in a week. Several young researchers stared at their shoes, eyes rimmed red. I didn't glance at the report. I walked to the whiteboard, uncapped a marker, and whipped out a long, intricate string of molecular notation. What is that? Leon squinted, baffled. What Liam stole. Silence fell, thick enough to hear someone sniff back tears. Not exactly, I added, turning to survey their hopeless faces, faces that suddenly looked comical. It's a failed induction formula for my dissertation. Its only trick? Under a specific wavelength, it disassembles itself in hours. In other words, I paused, enjoying the beat. Leon's eyes bulged. He stared at the formula, lips trembling with shock and sudden ecstasy. So Liam joined forces with Seacrest, paid a fortune, raced through patents, and right now they're mass-producing garbage that'll fall apart on the market. A technician stammered. Garbage is polite, I corrected. More like toxic, cell-damaging garbage. He skipped even basic toxicology, didn't he? A beat of disbelief. And then the room erupted. The same kids who'd been dying in their seats now pounded the table, howling with laughter. Leon clutched his forehead, shoulders shaking. My God, Aurora, you're wicked. I prefer Project Stardust 3 director. I rapped the table. The cheers cut. Every gaze rested on me like I wore a halo. I clicked to the next slide. Molecular blueprints 10 times denser. Dry your eyes. Forget the trash. Let's show the competition what a real tech revolution looks like. That afternoon, while the internet buried us in jeers, StellarTech's official feed posted a clip. No fake frailty a la Sophie. Just me, calm, direct. Thank you, Mr. Hawthorne, for the invitation. I'll attend Hawthorne's launch next week. I lifted my chin. Some things deserve a face-to-face debut. The comment section imploded, doomsday chorus calling it my last, desperate thrash. Hawthorne's product launch was scheduled 1 week later, downtown's grandest hotel ballroom. For 7 straight days, Liam and Sophie colonized the trending list. Sophie had rebranded herself co-founder, chief scientist-in-residence of Hawthorne, titles so long it sounded European royalty. In a TV interview, she wore tragic makeup and whispered, since college, Alex and I shared one dream. Use tech to heal the world. Aurora is gifted, but obsessive. We only wanted to keep that dream alive. I almost choke-laughed into my latte. Her dream? Squeezing intel out of me or perfecting home wrecking, which required more R&D. Liam played louder. He shuttled between summits promising investors Hawthorne stock would tenfold after launch and outlining post-merger plans for StellarTech. Listening to him, you'd think he'd already crowned himself Emperor of Earth. Launch day. Limousines clogged the cul-de-sac. Paparazzi flashbulbs turned evening into noon. Liam and Sophie posed before the step-and-repeat like freshly crowned monarchs, soaking up champagne praise. I slipped through a side door and sat in an unnoticed corner. Sophie spotted me soon enough. From her throne-like front-row seat she twisted, chin sky-high, gaze dripping honeyed venom. You lost, I won. Whimper like a dog. I yawned, fished out my phone, replied to Leon. All set. He texted back. Set. On stage, Liam thundered through a sermon, voice trembling with messianic zeal. Today will go down in history. Our miracle, too, will upend everything. Applause detonated. Sophie glanced back again. I met her stare, then returned to my screen. So boring. Liam reached crescendo, arms flung wide. Behold, miracle, 2. He stabbed the LED remote. Cinematic music swelled. A promo reel rolled. Slow-motion shots recast Liam as Prometheus stealing fire, though the script lied. A decade in the making. For the good of humanity. Mid-scene, the screen fizzed to black. Gasps rippled. Liam's grin froze. He signaled backstage. Technicians scrambled. The display flickered back, not to Liam's face, but to a hawk-eyed Western septuagenarian. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. An Oxbridge accent sliced through the surround sound, scholarly, absolute. Professor Hopkins, a reporter blurted. Yes, my mentor, Nobel laureate Professor Hopkins. Liam went chalk-white. At my student Aurora's request, I reviewed the Miracle 2 core molecular blueprint. He continued, flat as a journal abstract. It harbors a lethal flaw. On contact with human hydrolases, it forms an unidentified neurotoxin, inflicting irreversible neuronal damage within 3 to 6 months. Instantly, the screen flooded with pathology slides, toxicity charts, simulation data, each figure a sledgehammer to Liam's reputation. The evidence was as solid as a mountain. This dataset is a failed sample I scrapped a full year ago. My voice wasn't loud, yet through a second microphone someone had switched on without warning. It rang through the hall. I climbed the steps in my stilettos, took the mic from the stunned host, and stepped to Liam's side, his complexion already beyond ugly. Mr. Hawthorne, thank you. Thank you for deploying so much manpower, so many resources, to show the world exactly why this formula had to be abandoned. The room first sank into a deathly hush, then detonated. A rolling tsunami of gasps, shouts, and camera clicks crashed over us. Flashguns fired like mad. Reporters surged forward. Questions sprayed like bullets. Sophie's delicately painted face had lost every speck of color. She stared at Liam on stage, then at me, her lips trembling, speechless. At the height of the chaos, the Grand's twin doors flew open. A dozen uniformed Riverdale detectives and FDA officers streamed in. The lead detective raised his badge. Economic Crime Unit. Hawthorne is under investigation for trade secret theft and releasing fraudulent drug data endangering public safety. The premises are now sealed. Legal representative Liam, come with us. Liam's tailored suit twisted into a crumpled rag beneath the officer's grip. He thrashed like a maddened bull, veins bulging, eyes bloodshot, snarling. Aurora, you set me up, you bitch. Bitch, how quaint. Before I could deliver my acceptance speech, Sophie provided the night's second climax. Her bones seemed to liquefy. She collapsed in a heap. Eyeliner and mascara melted into twin black rivers across her cheeks. The paparazzi flashed without mercy, shutters rattling like hail. Pitiful? I only lamented the wasted makeup. Ladies and gentlemen, please. I lifted the mic. The racket dropped several decibels. I moved to the front. Behind me, the screen now displayed a new slide, an intricate molecular blueprint rotating slowly against a deep blue background, a real star in the cosmic dark. This is Stellar Tech. Stellar Tech 3. Stable, harmless, genuinely revolutionary. As for Mr. Hawthorne's Miracle 2, I paused, regarding Liam, pinned between two officers. Its sole value is to serve as tonight's cautionary tale. How he obtained that cautionary data, and how Sophie slandered me online, edited clips, orchestrated leaks. My legal team will release the full evidence chain within the hour. The press scented blood and went berserk. Rowan, are you saying Liam and Sophie duped the public from day one? Rowan, what's your response to their smear campaign while they were stealing from you? Online, opinion flipped faster than a page. Trolls who had spammed my feed moments earlier now howled that the pair were scam artists, a stain on science. Human nature, such amusement. I offered no answers. I had one last announcement. Furthermore, Stellar Tech hereby blacklists every investor who unilaterally terminated cooperation during this storm. Opportunity knocks once, miss it, and the door stays shut. The curtain fell faster than I'd expected. Before formal arrest, Liam asked to see me one final time. We sat in Riverdale precinct, separated by cold glass. He wore gray jail scrubs, hair unkempt, a decade older overnight. When he saw me, his eyes reddened. The man who had swaggered about swallowing my company broke down, sobbing against the glass. Aurora, I was wrong, so wrong. With cuffed wrists, he smeared away tears. I did it all because I was jealous. Back at college, everyone only ever saw you. I just wanted to beat you once. He cried like a child and kept up the act. I've always loved you. Only you. Sophie. Sophie is nothing. Just a pawn I used to provoke you. To defeat you. Pawns? If Sophie heard that, her makeup would run all over again. I lifted the visitation phone and asked only one thing. So, to when you stole a piece of trash you couldn't even read? His wailing jammed in his throat. Through the cold pain, his face looked punched, shocked, humiliated. He'd expected fury, a scorned woman meltdown. I simply stated a fact. He finally croaked, shifting to a more tragic tone. Aurora, why must you always be so ruthless? All you care about is your tech, your formulas. You never saw me. What did I want? He preached.
Just for you to look at me.
But you were always untouchable. Only Sophie saw my struggle, my pain. I cut him off. You think Sophie was sweet sunlight in your dark life, right? I sounded as calm as if discussing the weather. Tears shining, he nodded hard, clutching that last straw. Yes. She's nothing like you, poor but kind. She understands me. That was the final fig leaf. I tore it away. I smiled. Do you know how she got into our university? His expression froze. Without waiting, I unlocked my phone and pulled up an old email. Through the glass, its glow lit his ashen face. I had someone revise her application and personally wrote the decisive recommendation. I watched his eyes widen. Drafts, back and forth with admissions, all here. Oh, and her mediocre original transcript. I slipped the phone back into my bag as if the matter were trivial. Without me, she wouldn't even have touched a college gate. Your pure true love, the light of your life, I pronounced his eulogy word by word, was the cheapest souvenir I ever handed out. Liam's brain seemed to reboot. He gaped, soundless, until a strange gurgle slipped out, half laugh, half sob. Then he burst into wild cackles, snot and tears dripping as he thrashed, pounding the glass with his shackled fists. Ha ha ha, fake, all fake. He babbled, shrieking, howling, laughter fused with weeping. I hung up the phone, turned, and walked out of the interrogation room. The lunatic racket behind me was swallowed by the heavy steel door. I stepped out of the interrogation room. The heavy door thudded shut behind me, sealing Liam's madness into a distant, muffled echo. Leon was leaning against the corridor wall, scrolling on his phone. When he saw me, he slipped it back into his pocket. All done. I exhaled.
Yeah.
It felt like scraping a wad of gum off my shoe after weeks of walking on it. Let's go. The air in here stinks. Agreed. Liam's sentence came down fast, 10 years. My lawyer rang with the news, voice clipped and businesslike. Corporate espionage, fraud, endangering public safety. I listened, mind already elsewhere. When does the Hawthorne asset liquidation start? The lawyer paused, probably thrown by the shift. Very soon. Their stock's worthless and bankruptcy proceedings are underway. Good. I ended the call and dialed my CFO. Have cash ready. I'm going bargain hunting. A month later, the production lines and sales channels Liam had once bragged about were folded into StellarTech for a price that felt almost insulting. I finished his integration blueprint for him, just in reverse. As for Sophie, her finale was more spectacular than I'd imagined. First came the crimson-lettered notice on Riverdale University's homepage, expelled for academic misconduct and moral turpitude. Then the court order forcing her to pin a public apology to the top of every social feed for a full week and pay StellarTech $1 million in damages. I was sipping afternoon tea when her apology video surfaced. No makeup, tears streaking, she sobbed that jealousy had blinded her. Leon handed me a file and glanced at my screen. What goes around, Cameron? I close the clip, boring. Take her million and fund a company trip. Somewhere warm. We've earned it. His eyes lit up. Brilliant, boss. Word was, Sophie vanished from the industry. No firm would touch her. Her story ended there. Stellar Tech 3's launch arrived like a perfect storm we'd brewed in secret. Orders crashed our servers within minutes. A week later, our share price had multiplied 20-fold. Liam's boasts? I fulfilled them, and then some. At the Victory Gala, I unveiled the equity incentive plan. When the numbers hit the screen, the ballroom fell silent, then erupted in cheers loud enough to lift the roof. Leon clutched his contract, hands trembling, eyes moist. Aurora, no. Rowan, Aurora. I corrected, raising my glass. You earned every share. Stellar Tech isn't mine alone. That night my father was still up when I reached home, a pot of his prize tea waiting. He poured me a cup, gaze unreadable. I had lunch with Uncle Zhang and the old guard. They were all talking about you, saying I've outshone the old man. I teased. He shook his head, utterly serious. They said Sterling has found its true captain. He drained his cup. From tomorrow, the chairman's seat is yours. I'm off to fish. Silver glinted at his temples. Something in me softened. All right. Months later, a top-tier finance magazine ran a cover story on me, the tech queen redefining the future. At the end, the blonde reporter asked, Rowan, now that you're at the summit, looking back, what strikes you most? I gazed at the skyline, thought of Liam, of Sophie, and smiled. My takeaway? I lifted a fresh molecular blueprint, designed far more elegant than Stellar Tech 3. Being decent seems harder than being brilliant. Thing is, I aim to try both. 1 year later, the Financial Personality of the Year interview took place in our rooftop sky garden. Leon followed me, reciting talking points, more nervous than I was. That Emily woman may dig into personal stuff, those two. He wiggled 2 fingers. PR has the veto list, but if cornered, just skip. I toyed with a pot of cerulean plumbago. Got it, Ellis. He choked. Rowan, please, spooky. His phone buzzed. He checked it, grimaced, and passed it over. An entertainment blast screamed, from campus bell to dishwasher. Sophie caught on camera. Grainy shot. A greasy diner scullery, shapeless uniform, hairnet, elbows deep in pans, face and fingers filmed with grime, eyes hollow. Once bright, now empty. Leon whistled. Life's a roller coaster. I returned the phone, unmoved. The interview sailed smoothly. Emily stayed on Stellar Tech Strategy until the very end. Rowan, one last thing. She leaned closer. That photo of your former classmate has ignited debate. Many blame you. Any comment? Leon signaled frantically. I sipped my lemon water, watched mint leaves swirl. Emily, ever hear of conservation of energy? She blinked, nodded. All the perks she skimmed, elite admissions, spotlight, easy breaks, they weren't free. I set the glass down. Life invoices you eventually. She's only now paying the bill. Emily forgot to jot it down. By nightfall, hashtag price of fate trended at #1. My line, she's only now paying the bill, became meme fodder. Leon burst in waving a tablet. Viral again. The internet crowned you quote queen, maximum shade, minimal effort. Perfect. I slid a project folder across. Ride the wave. Send this out. Cover. Rising, Young Scientist Empowerment Foundation. His jaw dropped. A foundation? How many millions are we talking? Real money. What's money for? I asked. Invest, multiply, profit. And then, more profit? I laughed. Leon, I never want to see another Aurora begging for grants. And I never want. I stopped. Maybe, if someone had offered Sophie a hand up, an honest chance instead of unearned gifts, her story might have ended differently. Who knows? I moved to the floor-to-ceiling window. The past is past. Past the traffic below, I looked further out. Count sewer rats? I'd rather count the eagles we'll launch. Thanks for listening. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this story? If you liked the video, please like and share. We look forward to your comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales.
See you next time.